the B Plus is growing, and we want you to be a part of it. So if you have an idea for a podcast, or if you want to, write reviews for shows, whether that's WWE, New Japan, local shows especially, we have a big focus on Aussie Graps here. So if you go out to shows in Melbourne, we specifically need people in New Zealand, Tasmania, and Queensland. If you go out to shows in those areas, please let us know. We would love to hear from you. We would love to work with you. If you have a passion for wrestling and you want to write about anything wrestling, it can be anything. It can be listicles, it can be in-depth articles, opinion pieces, show reviews, whatever you want to do. If it's wrestling, it's fair game. Shoot us a message or send an email to thebplus@unchained.media. That's thebplus@unchained.media. Let us know what you want to do, and we'll get back to you, and we'll work something out, because the B Plus is growing, and we want to grow the B Plus family. Now, on with the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening.
Hold one, Andre.
You're not good at this. Get out. Let me tell you a personal story about Vince McMahon.
You just made the list.
Sorry, no speak English.
Dummy. Goodbye and good night. Hold two, on bar.
It's still real to me, damn it.
Dummy.
This is the worst town I've ever been in.
Hold three, the moss covered, three-handle family Gradunzel.
Mamma mia!
And now,
Unchained.media presents the B Plus Podcast with your host, GregUnchained.
It's me, Austin. It was me all along, Austin.
number four, armbar.
I will never retire.
I still got 200 more. I got 200 more holes to list.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the B Plus Podcast. This week, am your host, C-Jaii, and welcome to a bonus episode of WWE Universe, where we talk everything Crown Jewel. I'm just going to get right into it and just say, Greg, shout out to you, man. You are right. Fuck this event. I have some good things and bad things to say, which you will all hear, but I wasn't sold at the beginning. The matches were abysmal. The lineup was terrible. And they delivered that terribleness. I just want to go and say congratulations to WWE for selling out the event, even though you didn't announce actually what your attendance was, nor have you agreed to release what the attendance were. But it does mark the 18th pay-per-view for 2018. So it's pretty big. Looks like we're getting closer to that 20 mark that we're actually going to hit this year, which is kind of a big deal for WWE. I don't think they've done 20 pay-per-views for a while. Super Showdown was a month prior, and Crown Jewel just didn't have the same feeling. It didn't have the excitement. So we'll just get straight into the pay-per-view while we're at it. So Hulk Hogan makes his return to the WWE and opens the show saying 3 catchphrases, and let me tell you something, brother. Mikey, we all know, big boy, you're a fan of Hulkamania. So I can understand you being happy, and I can also understand you turning the mic off straight after this. So yeah, Hulk Hogan opened the show. I had to double check the sign by the looks of it to see where he was at. So that was very interesting. I found myself that this wasn't needed. He made one appearance to open the show. That was it. Renee Young was revealed that she was on commentary in the traditional black gown that women from Saudi Arabia have to wear, just without the headdress, which was surprising. I thought they would have had to put the headdress on her so that she didn't show her hair, but that could just be women in that culture. She might be exempt, I don't know. But it was good to hear her on commentary for this event. First match that opened the night was Rey Mysterio versus Randy Orton. Now, this is to what I believe the 4th time they've ever met in their careers. I think I could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, it was the first match they opened with, and it was actually a very decent match. I enjoyed this. Randy targeting the midsection for most of the match, and Rey Mysterio won via roll-up, which was a really odd roll-up, but it worked. And then after the match, Rey Mysterio celebrating, and Randy hits the RKO out of nowhere and starts attacking Rey Mysterio, causing that midsection to get a lot weaker. a note that I do like to point out is the announcer was actually telling people the accomplishments of the superstars in the World Cup. Like, for example, he said that Randy Orton was a 13-time world champion. He even had to read paper to announce that Jeff Hardy was a Grand Slam champion. So that was... I didn't like how they were showing that they were doing the paper. It wasn't a big fan of that, but I suppose it's just something that you can't remember all of them. So after Randy Orton pretty much demolished Rey Mysterio after their match, the next match on the list was another SmackDown match, Jeff Hardy versus The Miz. Now, they had a decent back and forth match. Again, wasn't too bad. Twist of Fate countered into the skull-crushing finale was a fantastic maneuver. I really enjoyed that. We saw Miz pinning Hardy clean. The next World Cup match was a Monday Night Raw match where we had the Intercontinental Champion Seth Rollins going one-on-one with Bobby Lashley, who was accompanied by Lio Rush. Now, I get that they're heading straight to England from this event, so I can understand Lio Rush being with him, but oh my gosh, he's starting to get on my nerves, which means he's doing his job properly. So it was a decent match. I liked the hard-hitting part that Bobby Lashley had, and he was dominating most of that match. But I've noticed that Lashley seems to be going on a losing streak by the looks of it, copying a roll-up into a stomp by Seth, causing Seth Rollins to gain the pin, defeating Bobby Lashley to proceed in the World Cup. Then the following match, I was actually really excited for this, was Dolph Ziggler versus Kurt Angle. Now, this match didn't actually take off as much as I thought it would, with Dolph Ziggler getting the pin and eliminating Kurt Angle in the very first round, which this is where I started to get pissed off, because Kurt Angle was my pick for Raw, and he got eliminated in the first round, so that wasn't the greatest thing. I truly believe he should have at least gone through to the semis, but I guess Dolph Ziggler was probably a better option. From what I saw, Drew McIntyre didn't get involved in this match, which was new because he gets involved in just about every match. Then we have a break from the World Cup, and we have the New Day versus the Bar versus for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. Now, I just want to touch on this. The New Day came out on a magic carpet ride. On a flying carpet. Like, elevated on a crane-looking thing. Was this supposed to be racist, or was it supposed to be like a prank on Saudi Arabia? Like, I didn't understand it, but I loved it because it looked like Aladdin, and I was happy with that. That's all I care about. But, so Big E and Kofi Kingston took on the Bar, with, of course, Xavier Woods and Big Show being at the side for their respective teams. Big Show did indeed get involved in this matchup. Right hook to Big E, walked straight into a bro kick, and the Bar retained. Well, the Bar dominated in most of that match. So it was you could see that was coming, and it was frustrating. But my question now is, where do we go from here? Who is the number one contender for the tag team titles? Do the Usos get a shot now? I believe the Usos should get a shot, or should the Revival jump ship, go to Monday Night Raw, go from Monday Night Raw to SmackDown to actually get a spot where they belong, up in the top ranks? I think we should see the Revival move over to SmackDown. They were having a little promo backstage in Gorilla just before they were hitting the stage. And Miz just clearly, he's almost lost his voice. And that was fantastic to hear, because sometimes he can just annoy me when he talks. So yeah, we get Rey Mysterio versus The Miz in the SmackDown semi-finals. This was, again, I did enjoy this match. I really did enjoy this match. But it didn't have the excitement that I thought it should have. So clearly, as we've seen so far, this World Cup hasn't been the greatest. Then you go from there. Rey Mysterio and The Miz go back and forth. Miz targets the midsection, obviously noticing that Randy has weakened him in the midsection and bruised his ribs by the looks of it, because Rey can hardly breathe. Rey Mysterio using that slide out, like baseball slide-ish move. I don't know what it's called, but I really do like that move, where he's like sliding out and almost splashes onto his opponent on the floor. I like that. However, Rey Mysterio went for the roll-up similar to how he did for Randy, and botched it completely. So that was botch number 1 of the night, from what I saw, where Bray went to do the whole flip and catch the Miz under the arms with his legs. It just fell on his back. And Miz actually had to step backwards into the pin, which just didn't look good at all. And then you have Rey Mysterio trying to hit the 619 and the Miz countering, maneuvering into a skull-crushing finale. That was fantastic. I really liked that. Rey Mysterio eventually hits the 619, goes for the frog splash, but Miz gets the knees up, catches the midsection of Rey Mysterio, and then rolls him up for the pin, causing the Miz to proceed into the finals. Next matchup, Seth Rollins versus Dolph Ziggler, again for what seems to be the 1000th time. I get that it's not the feud at the moment, thank goodness. But this match has been seen probably 30 times in the last 3-4 months. I'm over it. I'm pretty sure everyone else in the WWE universe is over it. But it just seriously feels like Dolph Ziggler was just on screen. That's what it felt like, so I just feel like this match coming straight in was way too quick. Of course, the win comes from Seth Rollins going up to the top rope. Dolph tries to counter, gets pushed off. Drew finally gets involved in the match, pushing Seth Rollins off the top rope, eating a super kick as he comes down. Dolph Ziggler getting the pin over Seth Rollins. Now the next match should have been AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship. Now I want to touch on this real quick. Both John Cena and Daniel Bryan have turned around and said that they did not want to compete at Crown Jewel for numerous reasons. From what I've read online, Daniel Bryan was because he found out what their relationship with the LGBTQ plus community was, and it wasn't very pleasant, so he didn't want to perform for that. And John Cena, with his Hollywood connections, obviously didn't want to go there, didn't want to look bad, so he kind of pulled out of the event as well. So then we have AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe again. They always put on a fantastic match. I love watching these two perform. I've seen some of their amateur stuff, well, not amateur, but I've seen some of their earlier stuff in TNA, and I loved it then. Loving it now. These guys could just go for years. Joe still limping around the ring, so he does look to be a little bit injured still. So it wasn't a great look, but you could just see AJ Styles was just working him. He was working the knee. He was showing everyone that AJ was still injured. Sorry, AJ was showing everyone that Samoa Joe was still injured. So it was just a back and forth match. It was really good. Samoa Joe looking in the Coquina clutch, and then AJ reversing into a knee bar reversal. That was really nice. And then, of course, AJ Styles hits a phenomenal forearm for the win, and retains the WWE Championship. Now, this match that's coming up next, I hated it. I absolutely hated it. This is probably one of the worst events I have ever seen play out for this championship. And I had to live through Finn Balor vacating it. The Universal Championship is once again on the shoulders of the beast incarnate, Brock Lesnar. Now, we're going to touch on this for a little bit. From what my personal perspective, it looks like that they just downright buried Braun Strowman. I know it's not the case, and I know they're working towards something bigger for Braun by the sounds of it, but they just about buried him. They fed him to the beast. Now, when the match started, Baron Corbin was at ringside, showing off everyone that he had the championship in his hands. As he goes to leave the ring, he smashes Braun Strowman over the back of the head with the belt before the bell rang, so it couldn't be classed as a disqualification. Braun gets up straight away. Brock picks him up with ease and hits the first F5. And when I mean first, he didn't just hit one F5. He didn't hit two F5s. He didn't hit three. He didn't hit four. He throws 5 F5s at Braun Strowman. It took 5 to keep him down. Now, this in itself was remarkable. Given that it's just a move that you can kick out on, a lot of people have done it. But 5 F5s. Like, that's all it took. There was no Suplex City. There was no Kimura Lock. There was no Triangle Holds. There was no other moves. It was F5 after F5 after F5 after F5. Paul Heyman was right on Monday Night Raw when he said, I guarantee that Brock Lesnar will be walking out of Crown Jewel the Universal Champion. He guaranteed it. Now everyone then thought, oh yeah, totally. Once you put one person over on the Go Home show, it's obviously he's going to lose, but not in this case. Brock Lesnar actually won, shocking the entire WWE Universe when he won the Universal Championship for the second time. So I'm actually really pissed off at this match because I hate having the Universal Championship on a part-timer. It is my passion to have a full-time champion. That's what I prefer, and I know that's what the WWE Universe prefers. But to put it on part-timer like Brock Lesnar again pisses me off. So this isn't the first instance where I'm going to say fuck Crown Jewel. Greg, you were right. Fuck Crown Jewel for this result. And then coming into the World Cup final, Dolph Ziggler versus The Miz. Before the bell even rings, the ref sends Drew McIntyre, who was there at Dolph Ziggler's side, to the back before the bell even rung. So he was adamant this was going to be a one-on-one match. That's all it was. It was the final. There could be no interference. So therefore, Drew gets sent to the back. The acting general manager, Baron Corbin, is there for Dolph Ziggler, and the commissioner of SmackDown Live, Shane McMahon, is there for The Miz. So, and we all know that Shane has said that if a SmackDown superstar got to the finals and lost, he would be leaving SmackDown Live. However, before the bell rings, The Miz attacks Dolph Ziggler. And they just go back and forth and back and forth. But then The Miz gets thrown out of the ring. Sorry, Dolph Ziggler gets thrown out of the ring. Miz tries to follow him. And as he jumps off the apron, his knee gives out. So I'm not sure. There's nothing that has said that it is a legitimate injury. So it just looks very painful. And Miz is obviously a really, really good actor. Which doesn't surprise me, seeing as he's in Hollywood at the moment. But this annoyed me as well. When it came up to it, The Miz couldn't stand, couldn't compete at all. So Shane's like, no, this can't happen, this can't happen. The announcers go to announce that due to forfeit, Dolph Ziggler was going to win. However, Shane didn't want it to go down that way and took Miz's spot. I get that he was available at the time, but this would have been the perfect moment for a huge return. And I'm meaning like someone who would just instantly get over with the crowd. Whether it be, you know what, the only name that actually comes to my mind right now is CM Punk. Because he is the best in the world. However, it could have been a new signing. It could have been someone completely different, a call-up from NXT, for example. It could have been Johnny Gargano, or it could have been Tommaso Ciampa. I know that with their feuds at the moment, they won't leave NXT anytime soon, but it would have been the perfect moment. But no, Shane decided he wanted to take the spotlight and get in the ring himself. Again, it was a quick match. Couple of right hooks from Shane, a coast to coast. Therefore, Shane pinning Dolph Ziggler. So, does that mean that Shane McMahon is now the best in the world? Does that mean that a guy that wrestles 1 to 2 times a year is officially the best in the world? I'm sorry, but no, that just doesn't sit right to me. Worst booking for this tournament that WWE has ever done. Period. Like, this was disgusting. Words to describe it. Disgusting. Hated this tournament. Should have been done as its own little thing, similar to the Mae Young Classic, or similar to, like, the Cruiserweight Championship Classic, but it annoys me so much that this whole tournament was built, and then it just falls to pieces. So, yeah, that pissed me off.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Hey, Greg, curious question for you, man. Have you been shopping recently?
I have not.
Mate, well, I've got some good news for you. I know you're not a big fan of crowds, as most of us here at the B Plus aren't. Have you heard of Threadbox?
I have heard of Threadbox.
Man, then you would know how good they actually are. I mean, I just received my first crate, and holy moly, I'm amazed. Guys, if you're listening, go check out threadbox.com.au, and they have everything from hats to socks to shirts to pants. It's fantastic. With email to a personalized stylist and customizable crates, it's honestly one of the best things I've had. I don't know about you, Greg, but I really enjoy it.
I got a crate the other day, and they gave me new jeans, a couple of new shirts, and the cool thing is, one of the shirts I tried it on, and it was a little bit long for me, and I thought this accentuates how short I am in person, and so I sent them an email, and I was just like, hey. This shirt, I feel like it makes me look really short because I'm kind of short. And they were like, send it back. We'll give you something else next month, like an extra thing. So I'm going to send that shirt back. And then next month, they're going to send me out something else. And I said to them, I've got lots of shirts. And they were like, well, we'll send you some accessories. And that's how Threadbox do it. It's kind of fantastic.
See, how good's that? And with our special code, the B Plus 15 at checkout, actually saves all our fans 15% at checkout on their first box. How cool is that?
Yeah, so head to threadbox.com.au today and use the code the B Plus 15 to get your first box as soon as you can.
Then we get to the match that was designed for 10 years ago. D-Generation X versus the Brothers of Destruction. This match, I was hyped for this match when it was supposed to be 10 years ago. Not so much now. Not so much when it comes to the fact that there is more hair on Triple H's chin than there is on his head and Shawn Michaels' head combined. That in itself says that this shouldn't be happening. But then again, Shawn Michaels proved us wrong, and he can still move. He can do the kip butt, he can do the sweet chin music, he can do the moonsaults. He's still got it. He's obviously been training for a while to be able to do all these moves again, but he can still move. I would really like to see Shawn Michaels continue. I wouldn't mind seeing a one-on-one match with The Undertaker at, say, Survivor Series. I'd like to see that, but the news coming out of this match, which you can notice, when Shawn gets whipped into the turnbuckle, and he does the whole thing where he flips up onto the turnbuckle and lays in the Tree of Woe position. When Kane shoves Triple H into the same spot, and Triple H goes over the top rope, you can immediately see, when the camera pans to him on the floor, he's holding his pec. Now, it has officially been announced that Triple H has suffered a pretty serious torn pectoral muscle, and they believe he's out for at least 9 months, which puts him past WrestleMania season. So it's not the greatest, not the ideal situation. We all know that John Cena did it in 4 because he's an absolute freak. Can Triple H do the same? That's what I want to know. I guess it's a watch this space moment, but yeah, it's kind of... I'm really worried. I do wish Triple H the best in his recovery. I hope it's a speedy recovery, not too much hazards in it. But yeah, it kind of puts a downer on this entire match because Triple H couldn't really perform. His arm was just dangling there for half of it. Can't lift it, can't punch with it. So he's doing everything left-handed, and it just looked awkward. So yeah, you get D-Generation X vs. Brothers of Destruction. Taker and Kane just demolished Shawn Michaels for 90% of the match due to the fact that Kane had to check Sam Hunter through a table to be able to keep Triple H out of the match. But yeah, it was a constant barrage on the Shawn Michaels. Then, as you can see, there's a point where Triple H is in Hell's Gate, Taker has Hunter in Hell's Gate. Shawn hits Kane with a sweet chin music, and Kane ends up landing on Undertaker to break the hold. So all 4 people are down, they're tired, you can see they're all puffing and panting. But no matter how old you are, you could be brand new into wrestling, you could be watching wrestling for as long as I have, and that double sit-up by Kane and Undertaker will always make you excited, will give you body chills. This will always make me excited, and I love seeing parts like this. So, going forward through the match, Brothers of Destruction pick up Shawn and Undertaker. So Undertaker picks up Shawn Michaels, Kane picks up Triple H, and then Shawn reaches over while he's on top of the Undertaker, pokes Kane in the eye, causing Kane to drop Triple H. And then Triple H kicks Undertaker to be able to, for him to drop Shawn. Then Shawn, one after another, delivers 2 sweet chin musics, and then Hunter hits the pedigree on Kane for the win. D-Generation X officially defeat the Brothers of Destruction. What the hell? This was supposed to be the build to something huge, but no, it was just a pile of dog shit. This match was terrible. Honestly, the worst I've seen them, any of them do. But it's just, I didn't feel connected to this pay-per-view at all. I mean, I was hyped going into it. I had picked all the winners. I didn't pick all the winners, but I had made my decisions on who I wanted to win, and I was excited to watch it. Wasn't getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning, because here in Australia, that's how long it was going to take. You had to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to watch this event. When it came to Super Showdown, Americans had to get up at 5 a.m. Not 3 a.m. I don't remember Greatest Royal Rumble being on at 3 o'clock in the morning either. But apparently, that's how it was. What the hell? Couldn't they just have it at a normal hour? Like, during the day? I guess you don't get as spectacular moments, but... What? It was frustrating. 3 o'clock in the morning, never doing it again. So, I actually put the feelers out there for on our Facebook page. I don't know if you guys follow us, the V Plus on Facebook, where we want to make your voice heard. And I will be putting this out there for all of these events that we have now. For all of the major pay-per-views, we want to hear what you, the WWE Universe, think of that pay-per-view. Now, for this one, I said, if you guys commented in 25 words or less what you guys thought of the event, then you potentially have your comment read here on the podcast. So, I'm just going to go ahead. We had 2 at the moment, so it wasn't a huge amount of responses, but we had 2. So we had one from, I do apologize right now if I butcher this, Idsmalas. So he goes on to say, rubbish show. Booking didn't make sense. Saudi government are the biggest scums in the world, but in saying that, do the Saudi people deserve to have their show taken away from them because of the actions of the government? And WWE making that much money is a hard decision. And what the fuck is with Brock and Shane winning? Now, I agree with you, mate. 100% agree with you. Brock and Shane are the worst results out of that entire show. And just, I can understand you. I've seen a few of your comments on B Plus Players, which is a group on Facebook, where you go on to constantly say that Brock was a horrible champion, and I agree with you. And 100% worst decision. And then we get another comment from Mitchell Scarf. The Strowman-Lesnar result was the only one that rattled my cage, to be honest. I'm over Lesnar. Screw this 2 champion over 2 code crap. Give the title to someone who's going to be there week in and week out like Roman was. Him having relinquished the titles, honestly thought going to be Strowman's time to have a decent title reign. Fed up with feeding Lesnar shit. Honestly, yeah. Now, 100% Mitchell, I agree with you. Having Roman having to vacate, everyone thought that Strowman was going to have this. Everyone. But no, they fed it to Brock one more time. So hopefully we get a little bit of a thing where it's going to be Brock and Braun eventually taking the title, because that's what we all need. It's what everyone wants. It's what the WWE needs, is Braun to have that championship. For my overall thought, the show was honestly one of the worst shows I've ever seen WWE put on. I have been watching WWE for 17 years, and yet that's the worst. I've sat through so many bad segments. So many bad shows. In general, I even watched the vote of no confidence for Triple H, and I watched Capital Punishment in 2010, and they were just horrible. But now, this tops the list for WWE's stupidest moments. It was interesting to note that they did not mention the country of Saudi Arabia at all. They didn't announce the attendance. They did announce, however, that the guy that was in charge of their sports association was in attendance. I'm not going to announce his name, because I would probably butcher it, which would be fine, because half of their names sound weird anyway. But, to get all this whole best in the world gimmick as well, it was just so they could fill spots. It's just so they could fill spots. You had 8 people compete at least 2 times. Well, close to 2 times. Most of them competed once. But it just seemed to be that it was just so they didn't have to book more people. It was so that they didn't have to pay more people. That's what it seemed like. And it was shit. The Universal title match was an absolute fucking joke. And what seemed like they pushed the reset button on Braun's career, which is bullshit. I'm going to rant about this on a view from the WWE Universe as well with Greg. And, Big Boy. I think Big Boy is joining me this week. But it was just a joke. Pissed off. Hated that segment. The tag team title match wasn't so great either. It wasn't the worst, but definitely not the best. We touched on Hogan earlier. He was supposed to be the host. Yeah, he opened the show to say his catchphrase and then fuck off into obscurity again. That's pretty much what's going to happen with him, and I don't care. Overall, I like the announcement. I liked some of the results. I would like to get more matches out of Shawn. And to be honest, the only interesting thing I found out of this was Rey Mysterio getting attacked by Randy Orton at the end of their match. I would like to see a little thing between them. I know that Rey Mysterio is looking towards the United States Championship, and I know that's where they're trying to build him. But I would like to have Randy Orton in there for a couple of weeks just to say, hey, doing this whole thing where I attack everyone that people love, and Rey Mysterio is super over no matter where he goes, because he is a superhuman, or super little human. I don't understand how you say it, but yeah, everyone loves Rey Mysterio, and Randy despises everyone that people love, so it'll be interesting to see how they work. But overall, this was a disgrace of a show. Hashtag fuck Crown Jewel. Hashtag fuck Saudi Arabia. Shout out to you, Greg, mate. You were right all along. I don't enjoy saying this, but well done. You boycotting this event was the smartest thing I think I've ever heard you say. And you've been playing off from Cowboy Land, so I've been hearing you say some weird things. But, honestly, WWE should just fuck off with this whole Crown Jewel event. This whole Saudi 5-year agreement that they've got. They should honestly just fade away and classify themselves as obsolete for that fucked up pay-per-view. Well, once again, I've said it with you, Greg. Fuck Crown Jewel. Ladies and gentlemen, that was it for my time today. Go ahead and follow us on Twitter at B+Wrestle because wrestling couldn't fit. We are the B+ Wrestling everywhere else, so that's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, iTunes. Go ahead and drop us a 5-star review. It helps us out. It helps Aussie Grabs out, guys. That's what we're here for, and we're here for you, the WWE Universe. Thank you, and good night.
Hold one! Arm drag! You're not doing this. Get out. Let me tell you a personal story about Vince McMahon. Yeah. You just made the list.
Sorry, no speak English.
Dummy.
Goodbye and good night.
Hold two! Arm bar!
This is the worst town I've ever been in.
It's still real to me, damn it! Dummy.
Hold three. The moss covered. Three-handle family good uncle.